Today we are going to talk about 7 things if Bo here could actually let you know what he would ask you, him and his sister, not to do to them, please. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So the first thing that they would absolutely ask you not to do to them is assume that they are plug and play. So they are livestock guardian dogs, working dogs, and they do have thousands of years of genetics that have been running through their blood for a long time. However, these dogs are not just get them and set them. They do require training. They need flock integration. They need to build basic confidence as well as commands. They need to learn basic commands. A lot of times what people will do is they assume that it's just a dog that you can put out in the pasture with the sheep or the goats or whatever they're protecting, and that everything is just going to be fine. And it's not that way. They really do, although it's natural to them to guard, they do require that time to adapt, to get to know. It's just like moving to a new neighborhood. Just because they're your neighbors, you don't assume, you all live in the houses and you're going to get along. There's a sense of getting to know that flock or herd and bonding with them. The second thing that they would ask you to not do to them is keep them isolated. There's a lot of old information out there on livestock guardian dogs, and one of them is that you will have a stronger, more reliable livestock guardian dog if you keep them away from people. And although there are different situations and circumstances where the dog may not just be around a lot of people, a lot of these dogs nowadays you're finding are on more of a homestead setting, a smaller acreage with family. So socialization is extremely important. And when I say socialization, I mean things like take them for a car ride, get them used to the car. They may have to go to the vet. So if you try to get a dog in a car the size of Bo to take to the vet that's never been in the car at 2 years old, it's going to be a struggle. The other thing in going with the vet, if they have some sort of operation or procedure where they are not able to be outside, you need to keep them in your house. It's important that you introduce them and at least have some sort of knowledge and familiarity with your house and being inside. There's a good chance they're not going to be potty trained. Bo is not. So whenever he's in the house, I walk behind him with his hips like this so he doesn't lift his leg. Franny, his sister, is pretty good. But they are very familiar with the house. They were raised as puppies inside the house. The other thing you want to socialize them with is other family pets, cats, dogs, that aren't necessarily outside all the time with them, but you want them to have an understanding and a familiarity with that they belong here and that they're not a stray cat or a stray dog, because that would be fair game. So it's important that they understand who their family members are. The third thing that they would ask you to please not do to them is assume that size equals maturity. These dogs grow exceptionally fast. I have had Franny, Bo's sister, since she was a week old, and she was 3.5 pounds. So they are ginormous dogs. They grow very fast, but it does not mean that they are mature. In fact, you will find most times a lot of the dogs that are sent back to shelters or are given away is usually between the ages of 12 to 18 months old. And that is because they're great, they're puppies, they're not fully grown when they're little, so you kind of have more patience for them. By a year old, they are pretty large in size, and they actually will go back and sort of revert, kind of like a teenager does. They kind of have this whole new throwing fits, and you just wonder what's going on. Where is this going? Why aren't they at a point where they're listening, or they're, able to be around the flock without chasing and kind of acting rambunctious. It's perfectly normal. So do not assume because they're these big dogs that look like they're full grown that they are mature. Because they are bigger, their maturity takes longer. I'm not writing a book. Please don't write a book about this, but this is my experience and what I have learned and researched and read. The magic number seems to be right around 2 years old. It's almost like a light bulb goes off. They just get it. Now, you can go a little earlier or a little later. I've actually heard some people say that theirs took even longer. But typically around 2 years old, you will find that they reach that sense of maturity, both physically and mentally. Number 4, this one, you guys, is huge. It really is a big deal. Please do not mix these dogs with non-livestock guardian dogs. Bo is a Great Pyrenees Anatolian Shepherd mix, which are a mix of both livestock guardian dog breeds. He does not wish to be a Great Doodle or an Anna Doodle. You are only setting up their puppies for complete failure. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I know people are going to say, oh, I have this or I have that. I get it. And sometimes it works out. But you cannot roll the dice with genetics and play, the game of knowing exactly what you're going to get. You do not know what those puppies' genetics are going to be. And the reason this is really important is because what allows livestock guardian dogs to bond with livestock is they have a low to no prey drive. I wouldn't say no, but it is kind of said that they have no prey drive. All dogs have a prey drive. Bo goes out, he digs and finds voles, and you have to have some kind of drive to do that. His motivation is because he wants to eat them. But if you look at, I've used the last time when we were talking about them not being pets, I was talking about German Shepherds being, a personal guardian dog. That dog is constantly wanting to chase, go after something. These dogs don't have that. So if you take a dog both sides and you breed it with, say, a German Shepherd or a Husky or something that has a very high prey drive and wants to chase and wants to grab that prey and destroy it, you have now mixed a dog that is as big as Bo that might potentially have a prey drive of a dog like a German Shepherd. It's very dangerous, quite honestly. And, yes, there's no guarantee that that dog will get that prey drive. It may be both sides and have no prey drive. However, it's not worth risking. And, as cute as you think that puppy's going to be, that's not what it's about. It is about setting that dog up for success and not having to worry about not knowing what you're getting when you have a puppy with mixed genetics like that. So it's extremely important. This is pretty self-explanatory if you understand the breed and what their purpose is and what they do. But for some people that don't, the 5th thing they would ask is, please do not use bark deterrence on them. Bark collars, high frequency sonic emitters that discourage them from barking. Their first line of defense or, doing their job is intimidation through size and barking. It is the first thing they will do. Putting a collar on them or setting up a device that deters them from barking would be like asking you not to blink or breathe. It's just an involuntary thing that they do. It's their first line of attack/defense, and it would just be very, very harmful to them to do that. And I won't get into it, but I will say that I have personal experience with a previous neighbor that did that to my dogs, and it was awful to watch, and part of the reason why I'm here on this ranch now. Number 6 would be, please do not discipline them. You can guide them. These dogs have traveled with shepherds for thousands of years. They are part of their genetics, and what they're bred for and used for is their ability to independently think, to make decisions on their own. They look at you like a guide, like a shepherd. If you come at them as an alpha and you start disciplining them and, making them feel bad for what they're doing, right or wrong, you're not going to get very far with these dogs. They are extremely stubborn. If they do not want to do something, they are not going to do it. Trust me. I have tried, one day I tried to get Franny, she jumped in my truck and she was like, no, I'm in the truck. I'm staying in the truck. I could not get her out. So I finally ended up taking her around for a ride just to satisfy her being in the truck. And when I got back, she got out. She was happy. So disciplining these dogs is not the way to go. You need to guide them, be their shepherd, be gentle with them, be patient with them, and trust that what they're deciding to do is probably the right thing. Number 7, this is another extremely important one. Please don't let them be a runaway. These dogs they want to expand their territory. I mean, they're happy. They like being where they are. They like being with their flock or their herd. But instinctually, they want to go out and they want to explore what is around them because they want to find potential risks that are out there, predators that may be lurking. So physical and psychological fence barriers are extremely important. And by physical, I mean some sort of barrier fencing. I have no climb fencing up on mine, which is 4 feet. I opted for 4 feet because they are not climbers, they are diggers. So what you will see at the bottom of my fence, about 6 inches up, maybe 8 inches up, I have 5-inch insulators that come off the post with a line of hot wire. You will find most of the time these dogs are either climbers or diggers. I have diggers. You would think them being a large dog, they'd have to really dig out to get out underneath something. Trust me when I say these dogs have a magical way of pancaking themselves. You would not believe some of the gaps that Bo has gotten under, but just because they're big in size, do not think that they would have a hard time getting out of something. A lot of times people have a very hard time with the fact that you're putting something up that's going to hurt your dog. Well, I can tell you personally, I would rather watch my dog get zapped and get over it 5 minutes later than escape and get out and get hit by a car. Or a lot of times they also get found by people that assume they have been abandoned. And if they're not microchipped, which mine are, a lot of times they never find their home. So it's extremely important to make sure that you have some sort of physical barrier up as well as a psychological barrier. Come here. So Bo was snoozing while we went over the things that he wanted me to ask you guys not to do to him. But those are the 7 things that if they could ask you to do, there are more, but we picked the most important ones, didn't we, Bo Bear? Those are the 7 things that they would ask you to please not do to them. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.